Brett Okamoto backstage, UFC 285 Media Day with Dricus Du Plessis, who fights this Saturday. And I'm just kidding, man. Your name is Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus Du Plessis. And I did want to ask you, are we starting to get it right a little bit more? Like that's almost like an indicator, right? Of if people are saying your name correctly, that means you're getting on the radar a little bit more, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said it. I think it was in the fight with Brad Tavares, saying this will be a household name in the top 10 soon. So get used to saying it. The S of Du Plessis is silent, and that seems to help people out. Yeah. Giving a little English lesson there.
Well, I remember you going against Darren Till in December, and you were saying like, this is the fight that's really going to put me on the map. It's not only going to put me on the map, but it's going to show the elite that like I'm going to be a problem. Do you feel like that fight did that? Do you feel like you're coming into this one with people like, man, this Dricus guy, like he's coming for the top of the division?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people discredit that win maybe by discrediting Darren Till, which is absolute BS. I think Darren Till is an incredible athlete, and he's only lost against the best of the best. If you look at his record, if you look at the guys he's fought, he's only lost, decision to Whitaker, who's the champion if Izzy wasn't there, and. I think people are starting to take note. I think they might, quite a few of them still hating, but they're starting to note, and that's the important part. And they can only deny it for that long. I'm stepping into the top 5, so what are they going to say next? Yeah, but in the top 3, everybody will beat him. So they said in the top 10, they said in the rankings, they said in the top 10. Here I am, still here. Still nobody could figure this out, and nobody's going to figure it out for quite a while.
Do you care about that kind of chatter? Do you care what other people are saying? Like when they start to discredit the Darren Till win, maybe, does that bother you?
Yeah, well, it takes away from Darren Till, which I respect. It doesn't take anything away from me. You just check my record. You just see what I do. It doesn't bother me at all. It bothers me that people have the audacity to say somebody like Darren Till, yeah, he's a washed-out fighter. Darren Till's 29 years old, 30 years old. Yeah. And, he's lost to some pretty great fighters. So, it doesn't bother me at all. But, at the end of the day, it's people are going to talk. And that's always like people hate people succeeding until they become great. And that's what I'm here for. I'm going to become great.
I know you said after that fight that you came out a little slow and just your body just wasn't reacting as like you thought. And I've heard you say since then that you still don't really know why. Like, is that a little unsettling? Is that unnerving that, like, on any given night you feel like the cut was good, the camp was good, and that for whatever reason you were slow for the first 5 minutes? Like, how do you kind of process that in your own mind?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we have to realize one thing. We're putting our bodies through extreme shock when you're doing a weight cut. When you are water loading, cutting water, all that stuff, it puts pressure on the body. There's a certain amount of things we do after a weight cut that I've always done. It's a step-by-step process, and that was my negligence that caused that. I 100% believe that. There was a few things that I didn't do. Like I said, going to loosen up my legs. Already booked, already done. Everything is going back the way it should. So I don't think it was anything to do with the camp. I think I'm in phenomenal shape. I think I'm a cardio machine with my output. If I do get a lot of comment saying, listen, this guy's cardio, check out his cardio, but look at my output. And if I gas, why am I winning fights in the 3rd round? That's what I'm getting at. So I feel in this fight I'm going to be even better. We won't have the problem we had in the Till fight. I can promise you that. Another thing in the Till fight that people has to remember. So you're starting a fight in the 1st round, and in the first 10 seconds, this fight goes from 0 to 200 miles an hour with throwing 60 unanswered punches while holding somebody up in a minute and a half. And it's not like, you can call that fight IQ, but the ref was literally there saying, we're going to stop the fight. So, with that adrenaline spike, thinking we're going to finish the fight, and obviously, you go and hit a bag as hard as you can for a minute and a half as a professional athlete and see how far you get. So, I took that 2nd round, I took a couple of minutes, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes to, just gather, get the legs back, get the breath back, and, I was back on top of the situation. And, that is it. That's another skill, is to face adversity and come back from it and, still win the fight. That's what it's all about.
After this one, obviously the opponent's going to matter. Would you like to get a 5-round fight in? Where are you at kind of in the terms of like an experience of a 5-round fight? Is it important to you? Do you think it's something that you would need before a title fight? Like, is it something you'll ask for, or you don't think it's all that necessarily important?
If they ask me for a 5-rounder right now, I'll do it. I'm 100% ready for that. After this fight, I want that number 1 contender fight. And I would love for it to be a main event 5-rounder, and I'm more than happy to have that. I had 5-round fights most of my career. I've had more years spent fighting 5-rounders, defending belts, than I have not. So 5-round is my bread and butter, and I can't wait to start fighting 5 rounds fight, because that's when people are going to see listen, after that third round, he looks exhausted, but he still keeps on going, and that's gonna hurt a lot of people.
You just have a bad poker face, like you just look exhausted when maybe you're not.
I've seen the footage, and I'm like, well, I can't blame them. I do look super tired, but another thing is, like, I breathe through my mouth. My nose is completely screwed up. It has been for the most part of my career, completely fractured in my nose, and I'll fix that someday. Well, hopefully soon when I get a little bit of time off. But that's the reason for me breathing out my mouth, which definitely plays a role in me looking absolutely exhausted. And I look at the fights and I'm like, yeah, I do look exhausted, but I know how I feel, and I don't feel that exhausted.
Yeah, and that's what's important. I hear fighters say sometimes that they like it when they have an opponent that scares them, because if I'm scared of the guy, that means I'm training hard. Does Derek Brunson scare you?
I don't fear any man alive. He doesn't scare me. At the end of the day, what wakes me up in the morning is the motivation of being the best in the world and being the best there ever was. I don't need my training, my motivation doesn't depend on anybody else than myself. I woke up for this fight just like I woke up for every fight, and my professional debut and my UFC debut, and I will for the next 100 fights that I fight. I will be self-motivated, and I'll be motivated by me and my performance, not about any other opponent, not motivated by anybody else than myself.
Yeah. All your fights are entertaining. We know that. With this one, does it matter to you, like, finish? Like, is the finish important to you, or are you just like, hey, man, I beat this guy, the number changes next to my name, a win is a win, or does a finish mean something here? Does a statement mean something here now that you're kind of getting into that point of your career of, who's getting a title fight, who are the fans excited to see, that kind of thing?
I've realized that I said before, I don't think I possess the ability to have a boring fight, because it's just not in me. It's not my style. And it's not that I go out there and say I'm going to be reckless and see who falls first. It's not that at all. I like to consider my fight IQ as one that when to go and when to stay, when to go. But I've never had a boring fight in my whole career, and I don't think I ever will. And with this fight, getting the finish is an absolutely massive statement. The fight with Brad Tavares as my first fight going the distance, and like I said, having a fight like that and go the distance doesn't bother me at all. It wasn't for a lack of trying. It was 3 rounds of entertainment, and that's what I'm here. At the end of the day, we have 50% of the sport is entertaining the people that buy these tickets, the people that buy the pay-per-views to watch these events, and it's our responsibility to give them a show. And I'm going for that finish 100%. To win the fight, you have to win every round, and more rounds than your opponent at least. And to win the round, you need to win the minute. Every minute you need to win. So that's where it starts at. But at the end of the day, it's when the first opportunity hits to get a finish. If you get the smallest opportunity, the smallest hint that your prey is hurt, you go for the kill.
This is a big fight for the division, man. It's a big fight in your career. I'm very much looking forward to it. Best of luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time. Dricus.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.